Addiction. The fact or condition of being addicted to a particular substance, thing, or activity. That is the definition of addiction. This is last year I was a junkie, and I'm Evan Beckstedt. So, I have no idea what I'm going to do with this, but I do know I want to start connecting with people, or at least telling people about addiction and explaining how it can grab somebody and turn them into something else. So I was lucky enough to have a beautiful family, a beautiful mother, and an amazing father. Well, a father who is flawed, although amazing. Yes, he is a loser. I also have a wonderful family life. I kind of just repeated that, but what I mean is I have amazing siblings. I have 5 siblings. Well, and that's I got one half sister and 2 other sisters and 2 brothers. They've always been there for me, so I'm lucky to have that. I'm also lucky to have found an amazing wife. But there are things in my past that I did that they had every right to kick me out of their life and throw me on the streets, and they were close to doing that. But there are people out there who don't have that, and that is what kind of tears me apart and tears a lot of people apart, because I was lucky to have found my way out of addiction, whereas a lot of people don't. And the biggest reason is mostly that they don't have people like I did. I had loved ones to fall back on, even if they were this close, that close to just saying, he's gone. I remember a conversation with my mother. I was high and didn't care for anything, and my mom came in and into my room, and she was screaming at me, yelling that I was killing myself, and she said she had already written me off as gone. She already writ me off as dead. And I know, look at me, I'm such an amazing person. How could I? Me, this? You see this? How could this guy have been an addict? I know, it's crazy. I don't look like it at all. But I have friends who are no longer there. And a lot of them struggled with me. What I'm talking about here is not just any addiction, it's a heroin addiction, an opioid addiction. Those are the worst, at least from what I can tell. Maybe not the worst, but they have hit hard where I live. Yes, there's meth, there's crack, and there is alcohol, and those are terrible too. But at least where I live in the beautiful city of Cincinnati, beautiful. Anyway, where I live in Cincinnati, it is very devastating. Half of my friends did it with me, and half of those are dead now. I've overdosed 4 times. There was one time I overdosed twice in one day because they brought me back to life with Narcan. And I was pissed. I was so pissed because Narcan shoots all of the opioids out of your system, at least most of them. So you go into instant withdrawal. So instead of thinking, oh, thank God they saved me, I'm in a hospital, I'm getting clean in this hospital, they're helping me, I said, screw this, I'm going home and I'm going to go shoot up some more heroin. Now I know that's weird to think. You look at me and you go, how could this guy do that? I mean, look at that. I know, it's weird. But I did. I died, and they revived me, and I went back home and did some more, and died again. I'll never forget the pain in my chest after I woke up. I didn't understand it for a while, and then I realized it was from the paramedic who saved my life. He was hitting my chest to bring me back to life. And I was mad at that guy. How could I be angry at someone who brought me back to life? That doesn't make any sense, but I was pissed off. My chest hurt. He had bruised my chest. How dare he? And he made me sick. How dare he? Well, luckily I got past that because I had an amazing family. And I feel for those who don't have that, and they're still stuck out there right now, going to a corner and finding somebody to give them drugs. There are people like myself that are still out there. And I was lucky to get out of it. I'm 27 years old and I started doing heroin at 18. I just got clean. Last year I was a junkie. And I'm not just saying that because that's what I'm calling this. It's true. It was 1 year ago. I was still an addict. And I still am. I don't use. Last year I hardly used. But I was still more of a junkie last year than I am today. And that's the reason why I'm calling this last year I was a junkie. Because every year I can still say last year I was a junkie. Because I was more of a junkie last year than I am this year. Every year is new. Every day is new. And I know that sounds cliche because I hated hearing that crap. I hated it. But it's true. Every day is new. I'm still on Suboxone. I'd love to get off of it. I'm getting off of it currently. My doctors are slowly bringing me down 2 milligrams at a time. But I'll tell you what, that feeling of being sick is ridiculous. And every time I feel sick, there's something in the back of my head punching me, saying, "Go get high, you dumbass!" And then I think about my family and my loved ones. And that's why I was lucky. I keep saying this, but that's why I was lucky. And that's what I want to bring to you. If you're an addict out there, I want to show you that there are people out there that are willing to help you. And you think, trust me, I get it. It's insane to think about and try and wrap your head around because you hate it. You hate the thought of getting clean. I understand that. Everything is stupid. That's always what it is. It's all stupid. You're stupid. They're stupid. Not me. I just want to get high. Fuck you. Fuck you. Pardon my French. But that's how it is. And it's ridiculous. When you get out of it, you think, why was I like that? Why was I mad at the man who saved my life? Yeah, he may have hurt my ribs and my chest, but I would be dead without him. And you know what else? I would be dead without Narcan. I've heard so many people against Narcan. It is ridiculous. It's not the addict's fault. You say, oh, yes, it is. They chose to do it. Do I look like somebody who chose to get high? Yeah, I do, don't I? I do. I look like a man who wanted to get high. But my point is, it's not like one day I was like, fuck it, I'm going to go shoot heroin. No. It was slow and painful. I was in high school when I first tried an opiate. And that shit was bomb. I loved it. I still do. Bringing me back to the whole last year I was a junkie, I still love heroin. But I'm not going to do it. And there's a reason I'm not going to do it. You can say you love it, but you need to realize that it's wrong. No matter what it is that you're doing, drinking, smoking, vaping, smoking meth, shooting meth. I did all of it. I know I don't look like a guy who would do that. But I've done it all. I've shot crack. I've smoked crack. I've shot cocaine. I've shot meth. I've snorted meth. I've done anything you can imagine. Almost anything besides PCP because that was never around. I'm sure if it was, I would have done it. And that's the problem with being an addict, is it's not you choose one thing to do. It's one thing happened to be your favorite, and you stuck with it. I'm sure a meth head could easily become a heroin addict because he was like, okay, I got to get off of meth. So now I'm going to revert to staying sober. Then he finds heroin, which helps him get through his withdrawals. That happened to me. I did heroin for a long time, and then I think it was last year, maybe 2 years ago, I discovered meth. And I thought, wow, I was dope sick a second ago, but now I'm on meth and I feel great. But the thing is, you just replaced it. Just like now, I replaced my heroin addiction with Suboxone. And I'll tell you right now, some people think Suboxone is great and it can help people. And I think, yeah, it could. But that's not the problem. You don't want to be addicted to anything. You don't want that addiction. And I'm addicted to Suboxone now. And anytime I don't have it, the first thing I think of is, how am I going to get Suboxone? If I can't get it from my doctor, I'm going to go get it off the streets. If I can't get it off the streets, I'm going to go get heroin. And that's the problem with Suboxone. Yeah, it can help, but you need to get that person off Suboxone as soon as you can. And you need to teach that person how to deal with his insecurities. And not just his, hers, whatever. You need to teach that person to be cool without heroin or without Suboxone. My biggest problem was that I had some things happen to me as a child, and that kind of led me to something, let me find something bigger, something new. And it started out with smoking pot, smoking weed, the reefer, let's get high, guys. God, I hate people like that. I've had people in my group therapies that were potheads, and they were like, I'm addicted to pot, man. How do you get off this shit? Bro, just stop smoking weed. It's that easy. Alright? If you want to get off of weed, just stop buying it. Yeah, I guess, never mind. I take that back. That's how I felt in group. Still kind of do, but I guess that's not really true. If you truly want to get off of smoking weed, I guess a group therapy session can help and give you the right coping skills. But I think they need a different group therapy for that. Because there's people like me who have shot heroin and people who have shot meth in that same place. And these people, like myself, I convinced somebody to have sex with a drug dealer so that we could get high. That's fucked up. I don't think I'll forgive myself for that, but I try. But today, I'm clean. And guess what? I don't pay attention to how long it's been, because that's some kind of glorification or some kind of, hey, look at me. I don't care how long I've been clean. What I care about is today I am clean. I don't care if you've been clean 90 days, 100 days, 1,000 days, or 1 day. If you're clean today, that's progress. Who cares? Who cares about how long you've been clean? The matter is what you're doing today. Are you clean today? And tomorrow, will you stay clean? I don't care how long it's been. But last year I was a junkie. This year, I have a career, and I have a wife, and a kid on the way, which I think is going to be a boy. She doesn't. Oh, she's not here. But anyway, I think it's going to be a boy. And I think it's going to be an amazing thing to go through. And every time that I get to the point where I feel like I need to use, I need to get high, I think back to my wife and my soon-to-be child. And I think I couldn't do that to them. I keep a picture of my wife on my cell phone as the lock screen, so that any time I go to use my phone, I see her. And I can see her start crying if I start thinking about using. So that picture helps me move on. Now, I'm not saying these things that I do will help you or help anybody you know. Because I know anybody watching this, I guarantee you have a friend, a family member, or you yourself are an addict. And I'm doing this for them. I'm doing this to help. Even if what I say doesn't exactly apply to you, maybe you can see, hey, there's somebody out there that did heroin for almost 10 years and is now clean, married, with a child on the way. I live in a beautiful apartment, and I know it's just an apartment, but it's beautiful. It's an amazing place. I never thought I could do this. And I paid for it with my money. My own money that I made as a welder. And now I can actually save money and do things that I've always wanted to do. I'm growing. I'm getting somewhere in life. It finally took me 10 years or so. But if somebody who was an addict for almost 10 years can get out of it, so can you. And I know there's people out there that are like, oh, I've been doing this for 30 years. I know. I've seen you, I've met you, and you're hardly different from me. And I guarantee you, you can get out of it. What you need to do is find some good people. And sometimes group therapy can show you those and help you find those good people. But you got to make sure you don't go after the people in group that are just there because they have to be there. Those people are bad. Those people got me back into getting high. I've had that happen to me. But then I found some groups and discovered I shouldn't go hang out with this guy because he's here only for the fact that he was arrested. So when he gets out of this place, he's going to just go get high. And there are people that are there, and it's not because they were arrested. It's some other crap. But they still want to get high, and they're high as they're in there. You need to find the people like me that are dedicated, the ones that actually interact, and you can see in their eye that they're being truthful and honest. Those are the people you need to connect with. And I say that because I know there are people out there that don't have family like I did. So that's the biggest thing, is your community. You need to find a good community. And I guarantee you, places like where I go, gateways, they will help you find a way out. They will. They'll help you with housing. They'll help you with getting a job. They'll help you with everything you can, or they can. And you need to find something like that. It's not a matter of just giving up on your drugs. It's not a matter of just putting down the needle or putting down the can of beer or the whiskey. It's not just, hey, let me stop this. There's a whole lot of crap going on here, which is what drives me nuts about those people out there that are trying to say that it's just a bad person who gets into drugs. Well, screw you. You probably drink. Okay? It's not bad people. It's not. Some of them might do bad things and turn into bad people, but that person was a child at one point. And you don't know what that person's childhood was like. There's somebody who has a heart and soul in there. And they just need a hug. No matter what it looks like, they just need a hug or something. They need somebody to help point them in the right direction. So stop putting down addicts. It drives me nuts. Look at me. Do you think I deserve having a whole community of people out there putting me down because I had crap that I had to deal with and I didn't know how to deal with it? I started on heroin because I did acid and smoked pot for a while. And one time I had a bad acid trip. That acid trip made me turn into a lunatic. And any time after that, I would have these flashbacks that would come and go. And they would smack me in the face and say, Evan, look, nobody's real. It's all just you. You're nuts, man. You're nuts. It's just you. No one's there. Yeah. See, the TV's talking to you now. Oh. You better watch out. That's what the acid did to me. And to this day, I'm still trying to deal with that. It's not easy to deal with when all of a sudden reality starts falling apart around you just because you had one bad trip. You shouldn't do acid willy-nilly like I did. If you do acid, do it once and do it right. Make sure it's acid. And I'm not saying go do drugs. I'm saying if you're going to, and I can't stop you, no one can, make sure you do it in the right environment. Make sure you do it in the right way. Because the way I did it was wrong. I was at a party with a girl that I liked, and that girl started hitting on some other guy. So that freaked me out and put me in this bad mental state, and then all of a sudden, everything started falling down around me. And then I started thinking, nobody's real. Nothing's real. The world is fake. I got dragged out of my body and punched into oblivion and was shown that there's nothing in existence. And then I saw the creation of the universe. But that was all in my head. And I got to live with that memory forever. That memory of thinking, oh, the universe was created by consciousness, and that consciousness was mine. And that's insanity. That is crazy. That will drive somebody insane, and it drove me insane. And it drove me to do heroin. Oh, how could that make you do heroin? You don't understand. A lot of people don't understand. Getting psychosis out of nowhere or schizophrenia out of nowhere will drive somebody to do crazy things. And it drove me to do heroin because the opiates that I did, which it started out being Percocets, it took the edge off. I didn't have to worry about if somebody would just turn into my thoughts. Because it's insane to explain, but there are times where all of a sudden people start talking directly to my thoughts. And then I can control them. At least it's like a hallucination. I think I'm controlling people with my brain. And that scares me. That freaks me out. Because I know it's not right. And I'm glad that I'm rational to think, okay, Evan, let's get out of this mindset. Let's forget about what's going on. It's okay. Let's get through this. Let's think of something else. And as I'm thinking all this, people are saying, yeah, Evan, let's think of something else. And I'm like, oh my God, why are you talking to my thoughts? So I'm dealing with that currently. And not like at this second. It happens here and there. But when I deal with that, I have to find a new coping skill. Instead of going to do heroin, I need to find something else. Because that's what I did, is I would do heroin, and that heroin would bring me so far down and just plant me in the ground, and I would just be okay with everything and relax. And I didn't have a care in the world. Because I could just lay around, feel good. I feel the warmth all over me. But that's false. It's a false feeling. And it doesn't last. So if you're out there struggling, I hope this video can help you. And the next videos to come. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I might have my wife in with me, or a family member, or someone to come in and talk about addiction. Hopefully I can eventually get to the point where I can get addicts as well coming in and talking with me. But for now, we'll see. And I hope this can reach people. And this is either very long for you or very short for you, because I'm planning on doing long episodes of this. But I just hope I can reach somebody out there, and that then the person that I do reach, if it touches their heart, hopefully they can show this to someone else, or they can say something to someone else and say, hey, there is a way out. And I know I haven't really given much coping skills or any really helpful opinions or thoughts or activities yet, but that's just this first video. I want to introduce myself and my feelings before I get into deeper stuff. But for now, I want to let you know that last year I was a junkie, and this year I'm moving forward. Thank you.